All right,
Please do.
Mine is Eric Benet. Do I need to do an introduction or something?
You do.
Yes, make your case, player.
Ex-husband of Halle Berry. Used to have braids. Has a very good falsetto. So what do you guys think?
Player, can we talk about his actual catalog of music and not his performing on stage with bare feet and who he cheated on?
All right. I'm just throwing the name. I'm not saying he's a definite yes, but he's kind of been an R&B, probably one of the top artists since the mid-'90s, I'd say, for R&B, and has really been consistent, managed to maintain his level of success. Like when a lot of his peers were fading, he was still putting out stronger material in the 2000s. Well, especially in recent years, he's been able to tour. He's one of the best performers I've seen for R&B, bare feet or not. And he's got a whole bunch of hits. Personally, I don't think he's done enough. However, I'd say he's one of the few who is still building that resume and still adding valuable pieces to it, to where at some point he could still be getting in.
Ed?
So, I think Tom made a good, well, not necessarily a case, but a good rundown of his career. And Eric Benet, in my estimation, is one of the most underrated artists on all of R&B. Not only one of the most underrated voices. I remember, again, when I put him on my list of top male R&B vocalists, people were like, Eric Benet? Eric Benet? I was like, have you listened to Eric Benet perform? Have you heard him recently? His falsetto is fantastic. He's a phenomenal performer. All his albums are great. And most of them just... It's weird. Besides the single with Tamia, he never really got that shine that he had. Even though he's had this catalog that's been pretty sparkling overall, he's just never had the impact and influence that I feel like he should have. So with that being said, he's had a phenomenal career under the radar, but because this is a Hall of Fame and influence goes so far, I'm gonna have to give him a no. And that's not because he isn't talented, because he's probably one of the most talented names that we've mentioned so far, but he just misses out on the influence category.
You know
Ed,
what?
you made a good point. Sorry, Kyle. All
ahead.
of his albums are actually pretty good. I'm looking back at them. I can't say he has any, poor album. You know?
He doesn't.
Which is impressive.
But on the other hand, he doesn't have that standout album.
No, I
and
agree.
if you ask a fan, what is the Eric Benet song? They'll probably say the Spending My Life With You song. Okay, what's the standout album? I don't know. What album was that song on? I don't know. See, he doesn't have that signature hit that kind of just he can hang his hat on, and that hurts him.
You know what, though? I agree with both of you guys, but the one thing that stands out to me, Tom, what you said, it's like his discography isn't finished yet. We talk about this Hall of Fame, and we talk about artists who started out strong, and when we look at them in 2017, it's just like, man, I wish they were still doing what they were doing back in the 90s. I'm talking about you, Brian McKnight, but Eric Benet
goodness. Leave Brian McKnight alone.
No, he ain't. I heard no lie. I heard no lie there. Continue, Kyle.
But Eric Benet is that one artist where even to this day, when you go to buy an Eric Benet album, whatever he's putting out, it's still going to be quality. And some of that is because of his voice and how strong it is, but he's been consistent. Consistency gets you far, and it does give you a good place in this Hall of Fame. I think the other part of it is... And what's remarkable to me, with this consistency, it's allowed him to develop a fan base overseas, like in Japan. We might not appreciate him a lot in North America, but once you go to Japan, man, Eric Benet has fans for days over there. And that's nothing to downplay, especially when we consider the fact that he didn't have that much mainstream success in North America. So to be able to take that, bring it over to Japan, I'm not sure how his fan base is in Europe. So DJ Soulchild is gonna have to fill us in on that one, but I mean that's nothing to downplay. Like, to have international success without even being a crossover artist, that's tough. I mean, but he doesn't really have that memorable album, and that's what's not allowing me to put him into this Hall of Fame. So I'm gonna have to go with no, but it's close.
I think it's just so awesome that, you know, as we've seen so many artists just fall off and lose any idea of what exactly they should be putting out as far as music, he just stays consistent and just keeps putting out good albums. I wish so many other artists would follow that same blueprint and be able to do that. Unfortunately, there's very few nowadays, but he's one of them.
And I remember saying this in probably one of my more recent reviews of his albums. He always, even though the albums continue to evolve, he doesn't lose sight of himself. He's not one of these artists who have been around for 10, 15 years that, oh, I guess I got to get on this trap song. Oh, let me do this trendy thing. He keeps his sound fresh. It doesn't sound stale. Yet, he still, if you're an Eric Benet fan, you know what you're going to get, and he gives it to you. He doesn't switch the game up. And I like that he is consistent, and he gives his fans what he wants. And it shows, because if you're an Eric Benet fan, you love him. And he gives you every right to.
Mm-hmm. So, really today, no Hall of Fame inductions. The great Janet Jackson, no relation to, who's another Jackson? That's not Michael or Tito.
Mahalia?
I guess. But anyways, related to Michael and Tito, Janet Jackson is not in. Neither is Eric Benet. Ed, one last question for you about Eric Benet. You didn't induct him into the Hall of Fame, right?
No.
Does the fact that he lost Halle Berry have anything to do with that?
Oh my gosh. I am not looking at who's on your X list when this Hall of Fame things goes down. My list is pure as the Driven Snow player. Y'all are the ones with your biased list with your Ashantis and whatnot.
Nelly needs to be in the R&B Hall of Fame just for that.
Nelly needs to be locked up somewhere.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I still have not forgiven him for the 10 years in 2000 that he put me through.